Hello everybody, today we're out on the Will Be Smiling, and it is a nice, cold, gloomy day here in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia area. And instead of fishing, what we're going to focus on today is how to rig fixed installation outriggers. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube that explain how to rig extendable boom mounted or retractable, however you want to look at it, carbon fiber type outriggers. And I hadn't seen anybody put a video out yet that kind of explains the process of how to rig your fixed installation outriggers. So that's what we're going to do today. Very excited. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the outrigger setup here. And you can see here, it's a very long setup here. It goes out 20 feet above and beyond the mount point. So overall, these account for about 30 feet of extension when you account the base mounts, but the rigger itself is about a 20-footer from Lee's Tackle. So what you can see here is there is a mounting or securing nut here, and what we're going to do is start by taking that nut off here and here, and then removing the outrigger. The securing bolt is removed. We're going to tie a line around the outrigger to make sure that as I disconnect the rigger from its bracket, if it falls, it doesn't fall to the bottom of the creek here. We lowered it right down, and very nicely and gently using a dock line. Roughly this thing weighs probably about maybe 15 to 20 pounds. And we're going to go ahead and start lining it up. The longest one goes through all three. That one on the top or the bottom, depending on how you're looking at it. This one and this one. And then the middle one is going to go in between the two here and out here. And then the shortest one is just going to make a loop right around this one here. So we're going to go ahead and get the stringing. I've got my line pre-ran through the outrigger guides. Got plenty of slack in them so I can make my adjustments to the right position. As you can see here, it's going down the end guide, the middle guide, and the bottom guides. And what we're going to do here is put this back up in the rigger and then pull the lines down and make the adjustments. Alright folks, we just got the first ringer strung through all the guides for all three positions in the rigger. So you're going to see here where we have gone ahead and tied them off here to the ladder in the order that I'm going to put them through the howlock. So 300-pound test is run through the first, second, and third rigger position in the guides. We are now going to go throw an anchor out in the harbor and tilt these out and make sure that we have the fully extended length of these riggers before we begin to finalize their position and slack. What we're using here to secure our riggers once they're deployed is a howlock. This is the triple howlock. It's for 3 locking positions. You can see we have the 3 positions strung to each of their respective positions in the rigger. And we have the triple howlock. So each one of these will be strung in the howlock and then will be tightened accordingly so that we can string out each position accordingly and then lock them in place once they're in the right position. So that's the purpose of the howlock, and then I'll show you guys how that rigs in. I've got the outrigger in the fully extended position. So now that the outrigger's in the fully extended position, I can begin to go ahead and finalize the lengths. Alright folks, for my boat, what I'm going to do now that I'm getting to the point where I'm rigging my lines is I'm going to go ahead and connect the halyard. For me, I'm using a foot-long bungee cord on a howlock, triple rigged. So for each of my lines, I'm going to run them through the howlock. Right here like this. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it into place on this side. And the reason I'm going to lock it into place is because I want to really bring tension on this line as I put it in place. So what I have here is basically everything that I need to set up each rigger. I've went ahead and already clipped on the 350-pound swivels. These are rated for salt water, anti-corrosion. This is a ball stop, so this will go up here and it will stop this swivel from going through the outrigger guide, protecting the line and the outrigger guide. And on either side of this loop, where I loop the mono around and crimp it, I'll be using chafing tubes, and then I'll be protecting, after I get the crimps on, I'll be protecting the user that's pulling the line with their hand from snagging that aluminum crimp with a rubber line glove that goes, it's not a loop protector, but it's basically a abrasion protectors that I'm going to be putting over the line. So we're going to go ahead and start assembling the component. The first step here is going to be putting on the ball stop. So I'll go ahead and put that down there and let that go. The second is going to be the abrasion protector for the person who's pulling on this line. This will go over the crimp and protect your hand. And then we'll go ahead and put the crimp on. And then what I need to do is I need to test fit this. This swivel to see how much line protector I need to put on it. I want it to be the smallest loop possible, but I want it to also not be so tight that it creates a crimp in the line. So all right, let's push that down. Push that down. I think that's about how we're going to want it. Anything like more than that would be a little too tight. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and cut this. We're going to cut this loop protector down to size here, which is going to be right about there. Cut the loop protector to size. Now that we know roughly the size, we're going to put the loop protector over the line, like that. And then we will put the swivel over the loop protector like that, and then we will loop this back into the crimp until we can see it's coming out of the other side here. There you go. Now you can see that I got my loop protector, I got my anti-chafing tube, and I have my swivel connected to my downrigger release clip here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and give this a crimp. Let's go ahead and bear down on that. Give it a nice crimp. That's done. That's not going anywhere. That's nice and secure. So here we go. We have the ball stop, the snag protection here for the crimp, and we have an anti-chafing loop protector onto the swivel, which is going onto the outrigger clip. Now we're just going to work this. We're going to work this anti-snag protector up and over the crimp, nice and easy like that. We'll just keep working that up. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Basically, loop protector, crimp, and a anti-snag protector boot that goes over that. Hopefully that will save you from getting busted up fingers while you're pulling on this rigger out there on the water when you're not paying attention as much. So we're going to do the same thing for the other side now. And this way, you know, as we're extending the line and pulling it back in, if we ever have a problem here with the outrigger clip, we can change these out as well. And now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. We're going to go ahead and slip on the in this case we're going to slip on the anti-snag boot, then we're going to slip on the crimp, okay, and then we are going to slip on the loop protector, okay, and now we are going to snug this all up. I have the tension to about how I want it, so it's not too tight, it's still loose enough to roll, but it's tight enough to allow the outrigger clip to release. I'm going to go ahead now and crimp down that last crimp, and we'll go ahead and slip over the anti-snag boot over the crimp once we're done. Got that one down to about how I want it. Go ahead and clip this tag line and slip over this anti-tag boot and call it a day. All right. Tag line is clipped. Flipping over the protective boot now. There you go. You got your anti-protective boot, your 350-pound swivel. You have your outrigger release clip, you have your second 350-pound swivel, and you have your crimped connection here and your ball stop. So that's how that's going to work. We'll do this for each of the others. Okay, so there we go. This is the inner position on the triple rig, going all the way out there to its first position. Okay, see that? Stops on the ball. This is the mid position on the mid, so that goes out and stops out there on the mid position, and the outer, which this one's going to take the longest because this one's going to take the longest because it's the farthest away. So we're going to send that out to the outs. And there we go. Now we have a triple rigger all set up, ready for trolling, king mackerel, whatever else we got to get this summer. We'll see. Looking forward to the first use. Okay, thank you all.